how do I even begin to explain Project Wilmington? Um, it was an intense 3 months that the project ran for. It was quite a turbulent start. We had issues with managing people and resources, and then sort of trying to get the client moving. And it it really exposed my knowledge because I had no idea about financial services, and I was working with a regulatory body, and it was insane. I sat down with a couple of colleagues, and they tried to teach me as much as they could in about an hour. And I came out of that meeting, and my head was spinning. It's definitely a massive weakness, but it's something that the organisation I'm working for really thrives upon, the fact that they can teach people and they develop knowledge and they can tailor it to who the client is. And so I think I probably spent the first month of my placement with my head spinning. That was probably due to jet lag as well. But I'm still constantly learning. You walk into meetings and sometimes you walk out and you have no idea what's going on, but you just have notes and you just have to consolidate them. And that's something that's really developed over my time, has been my note taking and sort of not flipping out in meetings and being like, oh my God, I have no idea what's going on. It's been a massive learning curve. And I mean, moving away from the lack of knowledge, you had that, and then you had the fact that I've never been in a PMO team. I had no idea what to do. I was learning so much, to the point where I got to about 3 months in, and I was able to sit down with someone that had just started and explain everything, and I didn't even realise I'd learnt it all. Sort of, for want of a better cliche, learning by osmosis. I'd been around it for so long that all of a sudden it just stuck. And it was amazing. It was that great feeling of gratitude and sort of self-accomplishment. It was almost kind of like this pat on the back kind of moment. I'd learnt something. I'd really worked hard on learning about the industry. And it was sensational. And I think that's something that I've really, really come into this whole year with my mind wide open, wanting to learn, taking it into every aspect, always wanting to learn something different. And it's something that I want to continue throughout the rest of the year, because everyone is still learning. No one knows everything. Especially when we've got regulatory changes coming in, like we're all still trying to learn everything, that I can use the people around me to learn from. Everyone I work with is so understanding and so great at recognizing when I don't know something and being so patient when I ask questions. And that's something that I've really developed in the past couple of months, has been asking questions, like not worrying about looking stupid or asking a silly question. There's no such thing as a silly question. With the people that I work with, they are great at explaining things and ensuring that I understand it before they move on. Because if you don't understand something, it just snowballs and it gets out of control. And so that was a really steep learning curve. The exponential growth in my knowledge has been sensational. Particularly when it comes to PMO stuff. Things like learning how to use PowerPoint effectively, learning how to storytell, which is something I'll cover later on. Just taking notes. It's different to uni. You need to pick up things like actions and risks and issues, and decisions that are being made, and really just absorbing as much in a meeting and being able to walk out and just get it all out on paper. And just having the exposure to the managing directors has been great. If I honestly wouldn't have changed that for the world. It's been incredible to have their knowledge on board, and they sit there, and honestly, I don't know how they do it. They are so smart. I admire all of them. They all have their own individual niche topics that they can just talk about for hours. And that has really helped with the past 4 months, having that exposure and their experience right at my fingertips, being able to knock on their door and just ask them a question. You wouldn't get that in a large company. So the exposure has been sensational. I think that really is important moving forward, because I've learned this early that you need to ask questions. You need to, think outside the box, not worry about what people think. For you to do your job effectively, you need to know the scope. And unless you ask questions and unless you push the boundaries, the job's not going to be done well. And when you're working with clients like we are, client delivery is everything. That's the whole crux of our job. And so if you don't get that right, you're ultimately failing. And so, yeah, I definitely want to improve on it and question things and just absorb information. Particularly as this project's been extended into Wilmington Part 2. So it's working with the same client and building upon what we've already done. And that means learning more, taking things into the next phase, and sort of it's like going back to square one, which is kind of exciting. I'm really keen to learn again and sit in a meeting. And it sounds bizarre, but sit in a meeting, have no idea what's going on, and sort of having to go out and almost treat it like a classroom situation where you have to go and learn. You have to be proactive, because it just keeps things interesting, and it's really exciting. So that's Project Wilmington. Yeah, I honestly have enjoyed every minute of it, and I think it's really going to help me moving forward, because it was such a unique project. So I guess we'll see how that goes in the next 6 months.